Marcus Snowe adjusted his cufflinks, the silver catching the dim cabin light. His jacket was too tight across the shoulders, bought 10 years and 20 pounds ago. Outside, fat snowflakes spiraled downward, settling on pine branches like powdered sugar. He hated family reunions almost as much as he hated the cold. The cabin's great room buzzed with forced laughter. Aunt Lydia refilled champagne flutes while Cousin Derek argued about lumber prices near the stone fireplace. Wood smoke hung thick in the air, mixing with the scent of roasting venison. Someone had tuned the radio to old jazz standards, the trumpet notes tinny and distant beneath the chatter. Marcus picked at a loose thread on his sleeve. Darkness fell fast in the mountains. Wind began rattling the window panes long before the stew was served. Alina Snowe frowned at the antique grandfather clock, its pendulum swinging too slow. "Weatherman said flurries," she muttered to no one. Frost crept across the glass like lace. When the lights flickered out, the sudden silence felt heavier than the dark. A child whimpered. Something clattered in the kitchen, a dropped pan maybe. Then Uncle Gerald's voice cut through the blackness. "Someone check on Silas." His words left ice in Marcus's throat. The old man hadn't left his armchair since supper. They found Silas Snowe slumped forward, head lolling unnaturally. Alina struck a match. Its trembling light caught the wet sheen on his lips, the overturned tumbler reeking of almonds beside his limp hand. A gasp ripped through the crowded doorway. Shadows danced wildly as Derek shoved past with a kerosene lamp, illuminating the patriarch's grayish skin. "Poison!" Derek spat, glaring at Marcus. "Your bourbon decanter sat right here." Panic broke like glass. Cousin Lydia screamed accusations toward Alina's herbal tea stash. Marcus's own brother gestured wildly at Gerald's hunting knife collection. Wind howled against the walls, mocking their fraying voices. Marcus crouched, ignoring them, and touched Silas's stiffening fingers. A single silver button, the kind from Aunt Lydia's shawl, glistened in the rug fibers near the chair leg. He palmed it silently. Footsteps creaked upstairs. Then came a sound like cracking ice, the front door bolt snapping under sudden force. Cold air rushed in as the storm shoved it open wide, revealing nothing but swirling snow and impenetrable night. Someone whispered, "He's not alone here." The kerosene lamp flickered violently, stretching their silhouettes into monstrous shapes against the wood-paneled walls. Marcus closed his fist around the button, its ridges biting into his palm. Lydia's shawl was still draped neatly over the sofa arm, its buttons intact. His gaze slid toward Gerald, whose hunting knife sheath hung empty at his hip. "Where's your blade, Uncle?" The question hung, sharp as frostbite. Gerald's knuckles whitened around his whiskey glass. Beneath its amber surface, Marcus spotted a smear of something dark and sticky clinging to the rim. Alina's trembling matchlight caught a glint under Silas's chair. A slender vial rolled against the leg, its label peeled off. She bent to grab it just as Derek lunged, shouting, "Destroying evidence, Ellie!" Their collision sent the vial skittering into shadow. Cedar smoke and bourbon sour breath filled Marcus's nostrils when Derek shoved him backward into the bookshelf. Dust rained down like gray snow. Outside, a branch splintered and crashed against the roof. The kerosene lamp guttered, plunging them into near darkness. In the suffocating black, Marcus heard it, a soft, wet gasp from the hallway closet followed by the click of a safety disengaging. Too close, too deliberate. His hand drifted toward the fireplace poker, cold iron promising violence. The button in his fist felt suddenly like a countdown. Alina scrambled backward as Derek loomed over her, his breath ragged. She struck another match, a desperate flicker against the gloom. Its tiny flame danced wildly, illuminating not just the fallen vial, but a trail. Damp boot prints, stark against the worn oak planks, led from the service door near the pantry all the way to Silas's armchair. Yet halfway, the prints dissolved into messy smears, as if someone had frantically dragged a rag over the evidence, leaving only ghostly streaks of melted snow and mud before abandoning the effort. The trail pointed accusingly toward the darkened kitchen passage. "A boot," whispered Lydia, her voice cracking. "Someone came in from the storm." Her eyes darted toward Gerald's sturdy hiking boots, still caked with snow from his late arrival, then flickered toward Marcus's polished city loafers, bone dry. The silence stretched, thick with implication. Gerald shifted, his empty knife sheath creaking. Marcus saw the smear on Gerald's whiskey glass wasn't liquor. It was dirt, the same wet, dark earth clinging to the half-erased prints. A low creak echoed from upstairs, the distinctive groan of the third step. Marcus froze. Everyone had gathered downstairs after finding Sela's. Someone else moved above them. Panic surged anew, sharp and metallic in Marcus's mouth. He lunged past Derek, the poker raised, shouting, "Show yourself." His boot landed squarely on the damp smear near Sela's chair, obliterating the last trace even as he charged toward the stairs. Behind him, Alina cried out, fumbling for another match. Its feeble glow illuminated Gerald's face, frozen in a mask of dread, staring not at Marcus, but at the shadowed landing above. The wind shrieked as if answering Marcus's challenge. With a deafening rip, attic shutters tore loose outside, slamming against the cabin wall. Splintered wood and frigid air exploded into the second-floor hallway. Marcus stumbled back, shielding his eyes from the blizzard's sudden fury. As the gust tore through the gaping hole, the kerosene lamp's dying flicker danced across the attic doorway. There, crouched on the top stair like a startled deer, was Viola, Sela's 14-year-old granddaughter, vanished since supper. Her wide eyes reflected the lamplight, terrified. Clutched against her chest was Gerald's rumpled fleece jacket, its sleeve dark and glistening. Nestled in its folds, gleaming faintly, rolled an empty vial identical to the one Alina had seen. Viola's gasp drowned in the wind's roar. He made me," she stammered, shaking violently. Her knuckles were white around the fleece, smeared with the same muddy grime as the prints downstairs. Below her, Marcus saw Gerald flinch violently, his whiskey glass slipping from his grasp. It shattered on the hearthstone, scattering amber shards and dark, damp earth across the rug. Lydia screamed, "You!" pointing a trembling finger not at Viola, but at Gerald. The mud, the fleece, the vial, Viola wasn't clutching evidence, she was holding proof. Silence fell heavier than the snow outside. Only the wind howled through the shattered shutters. Gerald's hand drifted toward his empty sheath, a reflexive motion betraying years of habit. Marcus tightened his grip on the poker, stepping protectively toward Viola. Her gaze locked on Gerald, raw betrayal twisting her delicate features. "You promised," she whispered, the words barely audible over the storm. "Promised Grandma's inheritance if I put it in Grandpa's bourbon." Gerald took a step back, bumping into the fireplace mantel. His eyes darted wildly, toward the broken glass, the muddy stain, the terrified girl clutching his guilt. There was nowhere left to hide. With a guttural roar, Gerald lunged for the stairs. Snow-laden wind whipped through the hole as he charged Viola, hands clawing the air. Marcus reacted instantly, scooping ash from the hearth, cold, gritty, and thick. He flung it hard. A gray-black cloud engulfed Gerald's face. The man choked, blinded, stumbling backward against the banister. "Got him!" Derek yelled, tackling Gerald's legs. Alina slammed into his side, pinning an arm. Lydia snatched Gerald's free wrist, wrenching it behind his back. They shoved him hard against the wood-paneled wall beside Sela's armchair. The poisoned tumbler rattled on the floorboards beneath his boots. Gerald thrashed, coughing ash, his cheek pressed to the cold pine. Marcus wrenched his uncle's arm higher, eliciting a sharp cry. "Why?" Marcus hissed, his voice low and venomous. The kerosene lamp flared, casting Gerald's strained face in flickering light. Viola descended slowly, clutching the vile speckled fleece like a shield. Gerald's wild gaze flickered to Silas's rigid, grayish hand mere inches away. "He was changing the will," Gerald rasped, spitting ash. "Cutting me out, leaving everything to her." He jerked his chin toward Viola. "Said I wasted his timber fortune. But that cabin, that land, it should have been mine." Rage warred with terror in his eyes as the storm screamed agreement against the walls. A brittle laugh cut through Gerald's confession. Alina knelt, carefully retrieving the other vial from where it had rolled near the toppled decanter. She held it up to the lamp's dim glow, identical to Viola's, label missing. "Should have been yours." Alina echoed, her voice cold as the draft sweeping the floor. She pointed the vial at Gerald's mud-stained trousers, then at the grimy streaks near Silas's chair. "You tracked this dirt from the woodshed asterisk before asterisk the storm broke. You were planning this when you arrived." Gerald stiffened, realization dawning. The front door hadn't been forced open by the wind, it had been unbolted from inside, his escape route snowed shut. Trapped. The kerosene flame caught the glint of something metallic beneath Silas's fingernail. Another silver button, torn violently from Gerald's own cuff in their final struggle. Marcus released Gerald's arm, stepping toward the shattered front door. Wind-blown snow stung his cheeks. Using Gerald's abandoned kerosene lantern, he thrust it low, casting its beam across the porch boards just beyond the threshold. There, preserved under a thin, crystalline layer of fresh powder, was a single deep boot tread, distinctively sharp-edged lug pattern, angled outward like Gerald's gait. Fresh wind threatened to obscure it instantly. Marcus ripped off his jacket and slammed it over the print, shielding the damning shape as ice crystals hissed against the wool. "Derek!" Marcus barked over his shoulder. "Find my phone. Get pictures. Asterisk now." Asterisk, Derek scrambled, fishing the device from Marcus's discarded coat pocket. Its cold flashlight flickered to life as Derek knelt, carefully lifting Marcus's jacket. He snapped rapid photos. The pristine impression, the snow-locked door frame, Gerald's mud-caked boot sole visible, just inside for comparison. 3 days buried them. The storm raged, sealing windows under drifts, leaving only the fireplace's crackle and the heavy silence of accusation. Viola curled near the hearth, Gerald's fleece, now evidence, folded beside her. Gerald himself sat bound near Silas's cold armchair, his eyes fixed on the snow-shrouded porch where Marcus's jacket remained frozen over the print. When the distant drone of a police snowmobile finally broke the stillness, Marcus met them at the door. He led the officers silently to the porch, brushing away powdery accumulation to reveal the jacket, stiff with ice. They lifted it gently. Beneath, perfectly preserved in the deep freeze, lay Gerald's boot print, a frozen arrow pointing straight back to the murderer inside. The detective's camera flash illuminated the tread like a ghost emerging from the snow. Gerald flinched at the burst of light through the window. As the officers entered, shaking off the cold, Marcus watched Gerald's gaze drop to Silas's empty tumbler. The old man hadn't just changed the will, he'd poured Gerald his last drink. The bitter almond scent still lingered, mingling with ash and pine resin. A final, poisonous reunion sealed not just by snow, but by the indelible mark Gerald left fleeing into the storm he thought would hide him.
If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing to see more. Also, feel free to suggest future short stories in the comments. From the bottom of my heart, I hope you have a great day and thank you for your time.